I have a real love-hate relationship with social media. I kind of feel like if we didn't need it for work, I would probably fall off the face of the planet and go live on a farm somewhere. But anyway, if you're a freelancer like me or any other type of solopreneur, whether that be a coach or a consultant, you will make your life so much easier if you leverage social media to your advantage. But you don't need to be on every single platform. In fact, you probably shouldn't be. You're going to be spreading yourself very thin. You're not going to be able to maintain the frequency of posting or the quality of posting that you need. And honestly, in terms of the type of work that we do, some of the platforms just aren't that beneficial. So if you're trying to use them to grow your business, it's sort of a waste of time. I'm going to tell you my experience with different social media platforms, which ones were the best in terms of growing my business, landing new clients, making money. And then, on the flip side, the ones that I found to be a waste of time. And again, just for context, I'm talking about using social media to land clients. Okay, so this video will best apply to client-based solopreneurs like freelancers, consultants, and coaches. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with the platforms I like and use. We're going to talk about ones that I no longer use for business, and then we will loop back around with some final tips and best practices. My number one pick, you probably saw this coming, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is social media for professionals. That's what it was designed to be, and it is the perfect balance between casual and formal. It is an incredibly powerful tool that I use for everything. Sourcing leads, cold outreach, building my platform, sending some of that traffic back to YouTube and my website, having private conversations with other professionals that I've connected with, everything. In fact, I find almost all of my clients on LinkedIn. By far, I have found this platform to be the most direct and efficient path to growing my business because LinkedIn was designed for people like us. It's overwhelmingly a B2B platform, business to business, meaning you, a business, connect with other businesses. This makes LinkedIn kind of unique because by and large, a lot of the other social media platforms are more geared towards B2C, business to consumer. It's brands trying to sell their products and services to their customers, okay? There's a big difference between B2B and B2C. I've got tons and tons of videos on how I use LinkedIn to grow my business, so I'm going to leave the link to my LinkedIn playlist in the description below this video. I cannot talk today. And if you want even more detailed one-on-one help, then you might be interested in my program, Revenue Spark, where I teach freelancers how to land clients, and LinkedIn is a huge part of that. That link is also in the description below where you can go learn a little bit more about our community. I want to be very clear, I 100% believe that you can easily get away with being active only on LinkedIn. I don't use much else these days to grow my business in terms of social media, but if you want to test the waters a little bit, I have a few more suggestions that I could offer. These are platforms that have helped me land clients here and there. I want to be very clear about that. That's why I don't rely on them as much as LinkedIn. My number 2 pick might surprise you, Twitter. Who knew that Twitter was good for anything? Not me. Full transparency, I used to tweet 3 times a day because I was actively trying to grow my platform, and then I eventually got it through my thick head that nobody cares and Twitter is a dying platform, in my opinion. The good news is you don't need to really tweet all the time if you want to use Twitter to land clients. It has gotten me a little work over the years, a little bit. I have tweeted and DM'd companies asking them who manages their blog. I'll tell them that I'm a writer and I'm interested in working together, and sometimes they did get back to me with the name and the email address of the person I needed to get in touch with. Also, there are certain hashtags that other professionals and brands use when they're looking to hire writers. Couldn't tell you what those hashtags are because I don't remember. I just know that they exist. This is hit or miss because typically those treats. I need to take a breath. I cannot speak today. Let's try that again. This is hit or miss because typically these tweets get a lot of competition and a lot of traffic, and that usually means that the people responding to those tweets try to compete with each other by constantly undercutting each other with their rates. So whoever lands that job probably isn't going to be paid very much. It's kind of a similar environment to job boards and bidding sites, which I've talked about before. I'll drop a link below to one of those videos. It's just too competitive. But anyway, one of the perks of Twitter is that you don't need to invest a ton of time in it in order to see results, bearing in mind that the results are hit or miss. But the results aren't dependent on you having a huge audience on Twitter, and that's what I like about it. You can reach out to a brand on Twitter and tell them you're a freelancer and ask for their guidance, and they're probably not going to care whether you have 100 followers or 10,000 followers. I would recommend, just to keep the page active, that you tweet a couple times a week and maybe retweet once or twice, just so that your page isn't completely bare, which looks a little shady. Add a picture, your profile picture, add a banner image, a bio, a link to your website, whatever. Fill out your profile, just so that should a brand go back and look at your page, it doesn't look totally sketchy. Okay, let's keep going. Tied for third place are Facebook and Instagram. These platforms are similar to Twitter in that you don't have to have a huge following in order to use them to do cold outreach. However, what they lack, that LinkedIn has, is that they are overwhelmingly B2C. The brands that you're trying to pitch on Facebook and Instagram, their priority is selling to their audiences, not networking with you. So while I have used these platforms to send direct messages and try to pitch my services, once again, it's hit or miss. And there are other variables at play here. For instance, I think it does partly depend on what type of freelancer or solopreneur you are. Like I said, I'm a writer, and in most companies, the content team and the social media team work very closely together. In fact, sometimes they're treated as one team. So if I reach out to a brand on social media, on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, because I'm a writer, they might be a little more receptive to me. Now, if you're trying to pitch a service that's very different, you might not have as much luck. As an example, let's say you are a financial consultant or like a bookkeeper, a freelance bookkeeper, and you DM a brand on Instagram, they probably won't have the slightest clue what to do with you. Same as Twitter, I would post just enough to keep the page active and fresh so that if a brand goes and looks at it, it doesn't look suspicious or weird. And if you plan on using these platforms a lot, I'm not here to tell you what to do with them, but whatever you do post or share, you'll probably want to keep it mostly professional. You don't have to make all of the content you share super specific to your business and like hyper targeted. That's just not necessary in my experience, but you want to avoid posting stuff that's like overtly political or religious or, controversial in any way. Now, managing multiple social media platforms is a lot of work. I've included 4 on this list: LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and that's a lot. So here's how I recommend you make the most of your time as a freelancer trying to leverage social media to land clients. Focus on LinkedIn. Make that your priority and use it for lead generation and cold outreach. Whenever you're trying to pitch a company on LinkedIn and you cannot get a hold of anyone and it ends up being a dead end, then turn to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. These are supplements. These are backups, okay? That's been my approach for years and it hasn't let me down yet. Okay, let's keep going. Are there any platforms that I feel like are a complete waste of time in terms of growing your business and landing clients? You betcha. TikTok and YouTube, which I understand sounds incredibly hypocritical because I'm active on both, especially YouTube. I love YouTube. So what gives? I'll explain. I'm not saying these platforms are totally useless. Hopefully that goes without saying. But if you're any kind of solopreneur trying to land clients, these are not the most efficient routes. Let's talk about TikTok first, which I love, and I have to be so careful about when I open the app because you open it up and you're like, I'm just gonna scroll for a few minutes, and then 2 hours later, here we are. Again, I encourage you to think about how your ideal clients are using TikTok. Are they using it for B2B reasons and to connect with service providers like you? Probably not. They're focused on promoting their own brand. Their goal is to churn out content and get as much engagement as possible. We are not on their radar on TikTok. I would say the same about YouTube. I don't use this platform to try to get my dream clients' attention. They're not on here watching long-form videos because they're looking for a writer to hire. I would say the exception to this for TikTok and YouTube is if you are a coach like a wellness coach or God, what other kinds of coaches are there out there? If you're a coach where you're kind of like working with people one-on-one to help them, like a parenting coach or a fitness coach, nutrition coach, YouTube can help you connect with people who might be interested in your course. And in fact, almost all of the students in my program initially found me on YouTube. That's different. That's B2C. We're talking about B2B, okay? So if you are like a freelance social media manager or a writer or a graphic designer and you're trying to land clients, I wouldn't plan on getting those clients from YouTube. Now, where I see a lot of freelancers go wrong, especially when it comes to Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, they think that if they're active on these platforms and create a lot of content, potential clients will come to them. The clients will find them and come to them. Those are called inbound leads. Will you get inbound leads as a freelancer? Yes, eventually. But you have to build up a lot of traffic in order for potential clients to find you, to come to you. This does not come quickly or easily. So if you plan on relying on inbound leads to support your business, you will probably fail. I'm sorry to tell you. Even I don't do this. I get inbound leads here and there, almost always on LinkedIn when it happens, but 98% of the time, it's me proactively going out and putting myself in front of potential clients. I do not wait for them to come to me. I go to them. That's called outbound sales. I'm going to give you this gentle warning right now. There are coaches and gurus out there who will tell you that you can make 5 figures a month purely from inbound leads. They are lying. Sure, there are exceptions to every rule, but overwhelmingly, the vast majority of us will not be able to pull that off, okay? This only works if you have a huge following and massive amounts of traffic, or if you're willing to spend a lot of money running paid ads, which don't even get me started on paid ads. I got a video on it. Just go watch that. These things don't apply to most of us. Most of us don't have huge audiences and tons of traffic, and we never will. And that's okay because you don't need those things to land clients anyway. You do need to be willing to go out and put yourself in front of those clients. Do not wait for clients to come to you. Go to them. And I will argue over and over and over again, the best place to put yourself in front of clients is on LinkedIn. Let's wrap this up with a few best practices and gentle reminders. Number 1, growing an audience, building a platform, it takes time. If you are expecting overnight results, don't. Number 2, you don't need to post on LinkedIn like a maniac in order to use it to land clients. You do need to post. I would aim for 1 or 2 times a week, and keep in mind that you can also share other people's content. And like I said, fill out your profile to completion. Slow down, take the time to do it properly. I have videos on how to do that. I'll leave the links below, and you're probably only going to have to do it once. So just make it look nice. Number 3, relying solely on inbound leads. We already talked about this. No, you need to be doing outbound sales if you want to land clients. Number 4, I think we're on. You don't need a huge following. You don't need to go viral in order to use social media to land clients. Don't obsess over vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are the superficial types of engagement, likes and comments. They don't mean a whole lot. They don't tell the whole story, and you can easily fake them. So don't obsess over vanity metrics. Use social media as a tool to land clients and grow your business, not to try to look popular. And number 5, this is just like a final heads up. Sometimes this stuff gets really boring. Social media, you won't always feel like posting. You won't always feel like doing cold outreach, and that's okay. It's okay to take short breaks. Step away from your computer, let yourself unwind, let your brain rest, and then come right back. Breaks are okay. This whole thing is a marathon. We're talking about building a business, so you gotta kind of be in it for the long haul. And that means it would behoove you to pace yourself. Slow and steady, baby steps. You ever hear the story of the tortoise and the hare? It's a good lesson for all of us. That's it for today. You know the drill. If you're still here and you like this video, I would be very grateful if you could give it a thumbs up and tell YouTube that you like my content. Everything I mentioned in this video, any of my other videos or links that I mentioned, they are in the description below. So head down there next. And if you have any questions, as always, you can drop them in a comment, and I'll see you next time. Mwah! Love you!